You know, guys, something that's extremely ironic here on the channel is just how many people genuinely despise when I'm critical about their favorite game. Alright, it could be Call of Duty, it could be Grand Theft Auto, it could be Fall Guys, it could be Fortnite, it could be XDefiant, a game that I've been defending for like the last 2 weeks. And as soon as something goes wrong and I comment on it, all of a sudden there's gooch lickers. Who would have thought there's gooch lickers outside of Call of Duty? Now don't get me wrong, if we're gonna compare the XDefiant fanboys and the Call of Duty fanboys, the COD fanboys are just significantly more likely to smell horribly, to be virgins, to lack testosterone. They're hitting the all over the Activision and Call of Duty devs. But at the end of the day, the fact remains, the Scatmaster is never wrong, just early. And what are we talking about, guys? If you saw my last video, then you know the XDefiant devs made an oopsie. And it's probably their biggest one yet, where they made a horrible change to the camo grind system and the weapon leveling and progression. And if you didn't see the last video, I suggest you check it out. I also just want to point out that that video did incredible, so thank you guys so much. And we're getting closer to 25,000 subscribers, so if you'd like to help out, help the Scatmaster, you know what I'm saying? But guys, XDefiant developers, they made a bad decision, and a lot of people made videos talking about how it was not a good change. And in classic any developer that's not a Call of Duty developer fashion, the developers heard out their community and they reverted the changes. Not only that, but they actually made it even better, something that Call of Duty developers would never do in a million years, and we have definitive proof of that over the last 5-6 years of COD. So to everybody that was talking trash in the comments in the last video, yeah, you might feel a little dumb after this one. But this comes out from Mark Rubin. He says, "We have been listening to players about the changes to progression. So, for those with a short attention span, not judging, here's the last page of the book, and then I'll go into reasoning and philosophy. We are changing the speed at which you rank up each level. It is going from the current number of 3000 XP down to 1500 XP, in effect doubling the speed at which you level up. The levels that you need to get to unlock a mastery skin are staying the same, but the net effect is that this will revert the change we made, but keep the 14% speed increase. This will mean that unlocking attachments will be super fast, but the grind for gold will be 14% faster than what it was before the recent patch. It also means that everyone will get a big bump in their current level. This change will be coming very soon, and as soon as I have a specific date, I will let you know. So now let's talk about what happened and why. Let me point out something that is very obvious. The main grind we have in the game right now is weapon mastery. This is something we are working on and have new ways for players to grind out cool rewards coming in multiple future updates. Like for instance, ranked will be coming in season 1, but because weapon mastery was the only grind we had, we feared that players would achieve the end of that grind too fast, and that would make the skins feel less special and rewarding. But here is the issue: we made a change while the game is live and people had already put in the effort towards the progression. This was a mistake on our part, and we will own that. And that is why we are actually reverting and making it technically even better than before, because attachments will still unlock much faster. What we should have done is keep our focus on the new grinds and challenges that we are working on. In other words, keep the focus on what's actually fun for the players. We've always held that this is a player-focused game and the progression change wasn't it. So, I hope that explains the situation, and I hope that everyone who plays our game realizes or remembers that this is a game for the players first. And guys, I put this in my community post yesterday, but this is just something you won't see from the Call of Duty developers. Not only is it a change that sucks, but the Call of Duty developers wouldn't address that it's a bad change. And on top of that, even if they did acknowledge that it was not a good quality that a lot of people were having trouble with, the Call of Duty developers would double down in this instance and tell us that we're wrong and that they're keeping the state of the game the way that it is. Best example I can come up with was back in MW 2019 Part 2, after the beta, when people were saying, "Hey, can you please add red dots into the game?" And they responded with some nonsense talking about the game plays better with no red dots, so we're keeping it that way. And how would anybody know that to be true? I have no idea. Once again, they were just spewing crap out of their mouths. No accountability, hardly even addressing the issue, and on top of that, they're doubling down and not supporting the community that has supported them in the first place, putting them in the position that they're in. XDefiant developers, on the other hand, they realized that they made a god-awful change. I spoke about it. A lot of people disagreed with what I had to say, but here we go with the developers actually reverting back to what a lot of us were suggesting. You can have the camo grind be farther out to make the camos feel more special. That's okay. A challenge is okay. But the excessiveness of how far they put it out of reach for a lot of people, and how many people got screwed over when they were like 1 level away from hitting gold, and now they're like 90 levels away. Obviously, that is not okay. Obviously, that lacks common sense. So to the XDefiant community that was coming after the Scadmaster, let me tell you one thing right now. You have absolutely no idea who you are talking to. I am not one of these little COD fanboys, XDefiant fanboys that just sits around, "Oh, you're mad? I'm sorry." No, when you deal with the Scadmaster, you get a wide variety of responses, alright? Especially when I need to respond to stupidity and things that lack common sense. So to the XDefiant community, don't get it twisted, alright? I'm on your guys' side because Call of Duty just sucks that bad, and XDefiant as a game and the developers completely blows Call of Duty out of the water, alright? Like, they completely wash Call of Duty in pretty much every single aspect you can think of. But that doesn't mean you can walk around like a gooch-licking moron and not understand your lefts from your rights. A lot of you guys don't want it with the Scadmaster, I'm just gonna put it that way. But listen, this change is great. Mark Rubin, Aches, XDefiant developers, everybody else that has common sense, good job, alright? This is something that every single genre of gaming that has developers that work in live service need to follow as examples, alright? Call of Duty developers, we're looking at you. Battlefield developers, Halo developers, look at these people on XDefiant. They're making their game community and player first. Remember how many times we've heard all of these Call of Duty developers, especially Infinity Ward, talking about their vision. Your vision means nothing if your game sucks and everybody disagrees with it. That's why Sledgehammer Games' rendition of Modern Warfare 2019 isn't landing with the vast majority of people with common sense. Because not only do they not have a vision themselves, they're following the vision of a game that sucks. XDefiant obviously has their own vision for how they want their game to be, but at the end of the day, this is basic customer service. We're purchasing your product, we're reviewing your product, we're trying to enjoy the quality of your product. There needs to be a middle point between consumer and developer/creator, something that XDefiant does extremely well, and something that the Call of Duty developers don't do whatsoever. And I just want to point out how fast this was changed and how real and transparent the communication was. Let's take, for example, a game like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 Part 3. You guys know the beloved map High Rise, right? You know these big fat propane tanks? You know when you shoot them and they just destroy and kill everybody on the goddamn map for no reason, even if you're not next to it, or some people are next to it and they don't even take a single bit of damage? It's just inconsistent, it makes no sense. You know, it's been like that since, I don't know, like day 1. And we're in month number 8 of that game existing, unfortunately. And there's only been one time within those 8 months that they actually addressed that issue. It was not too long ago where they said, we're going to fix that, especially in the CDL game mode, especially in ranked play, especially for the Call of Duty competitive league. And before you XDefiant community fanboys start clicking off the video, don't think I didn't read some of those comments from you people. Oh, you just suck at the game. Yeah, you guys are starting to lick some rims right now, right? Keep the same energy. You guys want to act competitive, so let's listen to the competitive community of Call of Duty, for example, where this issue with the propane tank has existed for so long, and they talked about fixing the issue and it no longer existing, and yet yesterday, lo and behold, it still exists. Lo and behold, it ruined the entire game. Lo and behold, it costed people placings and money. Lo and behold, it still makes no sense physically. Roll the goddamn clip.
After the great shots from
He is so active.
Oh, everybody's dead! And there was the explosion. Everybody blew up. Soldiers on the point. And they're gonna win it here because we're on patch 17 and the map's still exploding and it's done.
Guys, you see how this just lacks intelligence? It just lacks common sense. And if these COD developers have been talking about how they fixed this issue, even though it should have been fixed after like the third day of this game being out, it just makes you wonder, like, what are they doing? What are they prioritizing? Because this is a bug that ruins the game. It ruins the experience for an entire population of players. And it takes them 8 months to respond to this issue, and they don't even fix it correctly. Meanwhile, in a game with significantly less resources like XDefiant, they put out a patch. They ask people, hey, test it out. Is it not working out? Is it bad? Do you think it's horrible? Do you think it's positive, negative? Let us know, whatever it is. They hear the feedback, and immediately, within the next day or so, they're not only addressing it, they're reverting back to normal. On top of that, they're actually making it better for the community, and on top of that, they're acknowledging the mistake that they made. Tell me where you see that in Call of Duty. And I don't want to hear you gooch-licking morons talking about, oh well, Sledgehammer Games actually gave a slide canceling back. Sledgehammer Games made the TTK slower. I don't want to hear that, because if you say that to me, all I'm going to respond with is MW 2019 Part 2 was simply a beta. And if that's the case, then a lot of you people paid $140 for the experience that you have in MW 2019 Part 3. And XDefiant, with developers that actually listen, and they're claiming that this game is community driven, players first, and they're showing that in a much more enjoyable experience, it's free. $0, 0 cents. That is the difference between XDefiant and a game like Call of Duty. Keep in mind, Call of Duty, AAA company, AAA studio, AAA franchise, AAA title, whichever talent they want in the world, Activision can acquire them. Whatever resource they need, Activision is on it. Whatever the budget needs to be in order for the game to exist, it's going to happen. And yet, a game like XDefiant still outshines Call of Duty in this area at least. Say what you want about, oh, the netcode, oh, it's clunky, oh, it sucks, Call of Duty's better. Yeah, a lot of these fat bozos that think this way. Yeah, while you claim this about XDefiant, you understand that these exact same bugs still exist within Call of Duty. You want to talk about servers? Call of Duty servers have sucked balls. Big balls. The last 5 years. God awful servers. Horrible. You want to talk about hit registration? Same thing in COD. You want to talk about the netcode? Same thing in COD. Yeah, you can say it might be a little bit better in Call of Duty. It might be a little bit more polished. Check it out. This is like the 23rd installment of Call of Duty. They better have it right. It better be better than XDefiant. And for XDefiant to still be right up there next to it, I still prefer XDefiant. You don't get 20 attempts to slightly be better than somebody else's first attempt and think that we're gonna gas you up. That's not how this works. XDefiant servers, they suck sometimes. The netcode, the hit registration, getting shot through walls, it sucks. Balls. But guess what? Their developers are working on it, and I trust them, and they don't suck balls the same way that the COD devs suck balls, and they don't suck balls the same way that these gooch-licking morons sucks Call of Duty developers balls too. So if you got something to say to the SCAD master, make sure you get the balls out of your mouth, and then you can speak. And if you speak with intelligence, speak with reasoning and common sense, the same way that these XDefiant developers are communicating with their community, and you see how much love they get. If something in XDefiant sucks, I'm calling it out. In Call of Duty, if it sucks, I'm calling it out. The reason I can say good things about XDefiant is because when I say something sucks, they fix it, they work on it, they address it at the very least. When I do the same for Call of Duty, what happens? Crickets, guys, crickets. Talentless slob developers do absolutely nothing. And so yes, they deserve backies. Call of Duty community, you guys deserve backies. And XDefiant community, you guys don't deserve backies, but if you guys keep on talking like you deserve it, then maybe you will get them. Regardless, the change was fixed. I'm glad the XDefiant developers have common sense. I'm glad that they admitted and took accountability for their faults and mistakes. I'm glad that they're reverting it. I'm glad that they're pro-community. This is something that we don't see in the modern gaming era, especially in these FPS titles. Especially if we're thinking about Call of Duty. But that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I'm curious to know what you guys think about all this. Do you think this change being reverted and being made better is a W or L for XDefiant? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with my newest videos. And yeah, guys, it's been the boy Fooly. Have yourselves a good one. I'm out of here. Toodles.